When New York Red Bulls and Chicago Fire meet in MLS Next Pro, the rivalry can be spelled G-O-A-L-S. In the past 7 matches alone, they have blazed their way to scorelines of 3-2, 4-3, 5-4, and 5-5. And that's before you consider their last match, a stunning 9-2 victory for Chicago Fire 2 at SeatGeek Stadium that broke the MLS Next Pro record for goals in a single match. These two teams can tell you whatever they like, but that result left a mark. Tonight, Red Bulls 2 are back at home where they've never lost to Chicago, and the changes to Michael Bradley's lineup leave no doubt about New York's intention in this one. Couple of first-teamers dropping down. You notice the 2 fullbacks, Valencia and Gengar, to help out tonight for the twos. And the main man up top for New York Red Bulls, keep an eye on Rold Mitchell. Last 2 times he's come up against Chicago Fire, he has scored 6 goals in those 2 matches. He had the 2 for Red Bulls in that 9-2 defeat that I just mentioned. Mahir Jimenez has been in great form as well up top. Meanwhile, for Chicago, they've got Jason Shukaluk, 3rd in a tie for 3rd in the Golden Boot standings right now with 12 goals, and Claudio Cassano leads the league in goals plus assists with 10 of each this season. However, some big changes at the back for Coach Mike Matkovic. It's a debut for Hugo Berg, the 16-year-old youth international for the United States, and he stands in front of the rising star of the match week, David Melenda, the 16-year-old goalkeeper who came away with a clean sheet against Philadelphia Union in their last match to earn himself those honors from the league. He made 7 saves in that match, and in his debut earlier this season, he made 13 against Toronto, a phenomenal rising young goalkeeper for Chicago. This really has all the elements to be a fantastic matchup from Montclair State Soccer Park at Pitzer Field. And we are very excited for this 3rd matchup of the season between New York Red Bulls 2 and Chicago Fire FC 2 right here on MLS Season Pass and on YouTube. Coming into this match, teams who are in slightly different form. New York Red Bulls still top of the East, but their record hasn't been quite as strong in recent times. They have 4 wins, 3 losses, 2 draws under head coach Michael Bradley. Meanwhile, Chicago Fire unbeaten in their last 5, just 1 loss in their past 15. A heavyweight clash at the top of the table. A half-century of goals the last 7 times that these teams have met. They're the top 2 scoring teams in MLS Next Pro, and if that's not enough, potential history, playoff position, and a whole lot of pride on the line tonight. Let's have a night in New Jersey. My name is Parker Johnson. So happy that you've joined us this evening from MSU Soccer Park in Montclair as the Red Bulls back at home. Both these teams recently defeated Philadelphia Union by the same 2-0 score line, as there's a loose touch early on. That was Josue Fromer, who pairs with his fellow 16-year-old center back Hugo Berg tonight. A very young back line. And a trio of 16-year-olds when you factor in the goalkeeper. They've got a tough challenge working against the likes of Rold Mitchell, Mahir Jimenez up top for New York Red Bulls. A couple of players who have fine records recently. But Chicago Fire playing with the utmost confidence. They had a wobble against New England Revolution in their last match, a 4-2 defeat on the road, but didn't have a lot of their regular starters available for that match. Some first-team duties, leaving the roster a little thin for Mike Matkovic. And now some loose defending as Mehmeti just turns it behind for a corner. The way he reacted, he looked as though that's what he intended to do, but you rarely see it from so far out. Wonder if he could have been trying to pass back to a teammate, but in any case, an early corner kick inside 2 minutes for Chicago. Hoping to strike first on the road, a place that they have never won a match. Four wins and 1 draw in 5 contests for New York Red Bulls at home against Chicago Fire 2. As Sam Williams plays it forward. A towering header from Gutierrez, and out for our first goal kick. But New York happy to take it quickly. Valencia advancing forward. They've got the luxury of the Panamanian international. So he works his way back to fitness. On the opposite side, Dennis Gengar and the more typical center back pairing of Juan Gutierrez and Jair Colahuaso. Colahuaso was the man at the center of that 9-2 defeat. He was sent off 14 minutes in when they last played in Chicago, and that completely altered that match, of course. Not only did they go down a man, but they gave away the penalty to make it 2-0 early on. And New York, to their credit, fought very hard in that match. They were able to get it back to 4-1, and then the tires sort of fell off. It was a very hot day in SeatGeek Stadium in Bridgeview. And Mike Makovich was downplaying that result, Chicago's head coach, when we spoke with him this week. He did understand that it'll probably sting some of these New York players and the pride that they have as the top team in the East. But he felt like there were circumstances that, even if you played that match again, it might not have worked out the same way. Chicago were excellent, though, and here they come. Halut storming forward. Crossing from the far side. A sliding Shukaluk. Can't stretch the sinews of his right leg far enough. Aiden Stokes returns to goal tonight for the New York Red Bulls. There was some uncertainty about the first-team goalkeeping situation, which kept him out of their last match against New England Revolution 2, as he had to play backup for the MLS side. New York Red Bulls in simultaneous action tonight against Charlotte. And Chicago with a shot from Halut, who has looked dangerous coming off the left side, picking up pockets in behind Shukaluk. Wasn't able to get his chest all the way over that last shot. And this was the cross before. Here is Vitaly Halut. The ball popped up invitingly. Couldn't stay over his volleyed attempt. Nice play from Roald Mitchell. He plays in Gengar, who's got a man through the middle. He could take it himself. And the shot at goal saved by David Melenda in action early and picking up just where he left off against Philadelphia. An early save for the MLS Next Pro rising star of match week 23. And that one looked very similar to a couple of stops he made against the Union. Talking to Mike Makovich, he was saying how impressive it was that when there were defensive breakdowns, he really kept his team in it. Very good in the one-on-ones. He's able to get down quickly. And on the occasions that he does make little mistakes, he's very good at flushing them and moving on to the next play, which his coach praised as supernatural abilities for a 16-year-old goalkeeper. A great foundation to work with for Chicago this evening, in a lineage of other great young goalkeepers to come up through the Fire Academy. Controlled here by Benedetti. And now Aiden Jarvis calms things down, acting as the metronome. The lanky midfielder who's been forced into play as a center back at times. Did so well in their shutout win against the Union. And here he is picking it up, turning into space. He's got Mitchell on the right. Rolled Mitchell is in, cuts it across, looking back to Jarvis. Well defended by Chicago Fire. It was Sam Williams who got back, the former New York Red Bull Academy product. Mitchell's touch took him a little bit wide, and the best decision was to cut it back. He played the ball into the space more than he was looking for anybody in particular, and Jarvis a touch too late to make it count. Great defending from Williams as Fromer able to dribble out and spot the long pass up the sideline. Well controlled by Geni Kanyane. Chicago getting into their 4-3-3 shape with the ball, pushing those fullbacks high and wide, allowing the midfielders to control the tempo. Center back seeing a lot of the ball at their feet, and in the early stages, haven't seen that classic Red Bull press from Michael Bradley's team engage too many times just yet. They haven't needed to, as the ball over the top for Mitchell bundles into the hands of the goalkeeper, Molenda. Shukaluk can't control. Chicago trying to gain it back quickly. Jarvis gets out of a tight situation. Control from Rojas. Valencia swinging it into the box. Jimenez taps it over, and Jarvis has a hit. He has been involved in everything for New York. Couldn't get the ball far out enough from under his feet to trouble Molenda, who picks up another save in the early going. Getting a bit of confidence and rhythm coming off of that clean sheet against the Union. Oh, that is a dangerous pass, but it's come off for Chicago. In comes Kanyane. New York retreating. Ball floated to the back post. Chicago Fire too, incredibly confident with the ball early on. Rotating it from side to side. Coming in, and now Shukaluk has space, decides to drop it back as Williams shifts it up the line. Cassano getting some touches on the ball. Sam Williams turns away, and the whistle goes for a foul against Chicago. Won by Valencia. This portion of the match is brought to you by Sports Illustrated Tickets. Going to be a hot ticket at Sports Illustrated Stadium on September 6th when the club announced that Michael Bradley will be honored before the U.S. men's national team friendly against South Korea as those eyes start turning towards the World Cup. Of course, Bradley, the longtime captain and the second most or third most capped player in United States history, will have an opportunity to be honored at the Red Bulls MLS match, or rather the match at the Red Bulls MLS stadium that the national team will be playing in. Part of an effort to recognize some of the greats over the years. Exciting times in American soccer, and all these young talents out there on the pitch trying to make their mark as the Tri-Nation World Cup approaches next summer. Challenge coming in from Justin Reynolds to win it back for Chicago Fire. Dispossessed at the edge of the area as Gengar looks to play it out. Benedetti lasers a ball across to the left side, picked up by Andy Rojas. Driving at the back line, Valencia! So much quality in this Red Bulls 2 side. A flowing move. And Valencia still trying to find a bit of sharpness at the end of it. Rojas last Saturday signed his full first-team contract. He was coming over from Herediano in Costa Rica. The 19-year-olds who had an impressive start to his professional career with the Costa Rican Giants. 15 goals, 6 assists in 85 appearances by the time he came to New York. Making his impact at a very young age for one of the top teams in the CONCACAF region, and eventually rewarded with his first team deal as Gengar had eyes on that bottom left corner. And it's Berg on his debut, potentially saving a goal. That looked like it was a well-placed shot. Whether it had enough power to beat Melenda or not, we may never know. As Rojas prepares the corner right into the danger zone. They've clearly picked out the 6-foot-tall goalkeeper as a target on these set-piece situations. Look at how many bodies are inside the 6-yard box as Valencia trots over. And our referee just having a word, letting everybody know that his eyes are peeled for any potential wrongdoing. In-swinger coming from Valencia. And now a man has gone down among that mass of bodies. Justin Reynolds hits the deck. Delivered in with some heat. It falls loose in the 6-yard box, and a whistle coming out favors Chicago Fire, but anytime the ball drops like that from a set piece inside the 6-yard box, usually spells real danger for the back line. Reynolds did a good job marshaling Colawaso on his header, and the little trip from behind looks like Mahir Jimenez, who got a touch on the Chicago player. We'll keep an eye on those corner kicks and even on other free kick opportunities. See if New York try to keep crowding the Chicago goalkeeper. Seemed a clear strategy from those first couple of opportunities. 15 minutes in here, no goals might be a slight surprise between the two top scoring teams in MLS Next Pro. A huge match at the top of the Eastern Conference standings. First place, New York. Fourth place, Chicago. Considering the weekend's results, Things have only gotten tighter as Rold Mitchell tried his luck. He's had so much success against Chicago Fire. You expected him to find his way back into the lineup for this one. But just touching on those standings, now only 4 points between first and sixth place at the beginning of this match. New York Red Bulls could extend that gap at the top, depending how many points they pick up here. And crucially, if they can secure at least a draw, no matter the result of the shootout, New York Red Bulls will become the first team in the Eastern Conference to punch their ticket to the playoffs officially. But as mentioned, with the tightness of the table, that only means so much, because when 2 matches could swing you all the way down from first to sixth and take you out of position for a home game and picking your opponents, that is a huge, huge difference when it comes to playoff time. Reynolds advancing for the Fire. Drops it back to Cassano. Well-weighted ball. It's Shukaluk. Closed down by Gutierrez. Shukaluk again. And Colowasso in the way more than he made any type of serious blocking effort. The ball was lost for a moment. And Colowasso standing his ground. A 19-year-old Ecuador native. Benton headed across, back post. It was Josue Fromer rising. Unable to get solid contact on his header after the flick at the near post. Chicago's number 52 with a very good opportunity from that corner. A well-balanced match in the early going. Popped up by Reynolds, inviting some pressure from New York Red Bulls. And Fromer able to escape from Jimenez. Very well done by the center back, not to walk into the trap set by the Red Bulls. Kanyane playing it forward, tried to connect with Trip Fleming, and they've earned another corner from the looks of things. Wasn't the best pass, but in stretching Fleming a bit, it created that deflection. So we see Claudio Cassano return to the corner flag. The MLS Next Pro leader in assists this season with 10. Sent straight in towards Stokes. Nobody there for Chicago. The punch out. Falling at the top of the box for Berg. Recycled out to the right side. Fromer picking it up. The center back looking for help. And he bounces it off of a red jersey to win a throw-in for his side. Sent back in and rejected by Gutierrez. Cassano perhaps was offside. Red Bulls quickly back into the action. Gutierrez with a difficult ball for Gengar. Even if he controlled it, wasn't a lot he could do with that. Halut creating, bouncing. It gets away from him at the final moment as Fleming was looking for something else from his midfield partner. Fleming playing in that 10 role has picked up some nice pockets underneath Shukaluk. Berg picks out Williams. Now it's Kanyane, pressured by Jimenez. Great intensity from both sides as we reach the halfway point of our first half here in New Jersey. Fromer looking comfortable again, navigating his way around the pressure. Nice dummy from Cassano, leaves it for Fleming. He's got options coming up behind him. Joining the party is Williams. Chicago working it up the touchline. Dribbling in, Cassano! Claiming a deflection, but no sympathy from our referee. This portion of the match is brought to you by Hackensack Meridian Health. Very engaging watch so far. The biggest moment, I'd have to say, Gengar getting in one-on-one, and a big stop from David Melenda in the Chicago goal. New York Red Bulls could have dealt a lot more damage so far. They've already put 8 shots on Chicago, 3 of them on target to force saves out of Melenda. 3 shots for the visitors, but they've looked very positive with the ball, and they've completed nearly double the amount of passes as New York Red Bulls. Kanyane. Chicago's been very wise in avoiding the pressure when New York Red Bulls attempts to step as a team. Using that Red Bull pressing philosophy, which Michael Bradley has carried on in his time at the helm, taking over for the match on June 15th. Cassano. Looks like a pretty good challenge from Valencia, but he comes in from behind, leaves Cassano on the slick artificial turf. And the foul given to Chicago Fire 2. Let's get another look. Senses Valencia coming, touches the ball out of the way. Near simultaneous, the contact with foot and ball, but a touch late in the eyes of the referee, who had a better look at it than I did. So Cassano considers his delivery. It goes straight on. Shukaluk down through the legs and then pounced on by Aiden Stokes. That'll count as a save as he took the sting out of the header from Shukaluk, who was able to get free with an unconventional straight ball to a straight run. You don't see that all the time, but given the angle of the free kick, it was a good option for Cassano. We know how pinpoint his deliveries are. So Stokes matching his opposite number in goal and helping keep Chicago off the board. Looks like Shukaluk hardly touched it in the end. Based on his reaction, it seems like he was hoping to make a little bit more contact in order to divert the ball further off of its path. Still, his interference almost was enough to cause a goal. Rold Mitchell coming up the other end. Is this a penalty? There's all ball, according to the referee. A toe thrown in from behind with extremely perfect timing. I'm sure Rold Mitchell was thinking about that match back in April of 2024 when he scored 4 goals in the first half against this very Chicago team. And yet, one of the worst memories for Mitchell, someone who ended up tearing his ACL in the second half. Red Bulls would go on to give up the lead, and the game finished 5-5 after regulation, although New York did win the shootout. Get back to that in a moment as Jimenez finds Mitchell, trying to recreate some of that magic. And the reason I bring it up is that 2 of those 4 first-half goals that Mitchell did score before his injury came from the penalty spot. A game with 5 combined penalty kicks that finished 5-5, and then they went ahead and took more in the shootout. It was a wild one right here at MSU Soccer Park. As we take a look at the last penalty shout for Mitchell, there's not a lot of complaints from the New York forward or from those around him, which is always an interesting indicator about how the players felt. I have to admit, on first viewing, it looked like there was no way for the defender to get the ball from that angle. But he did well to win it in recovery, Kanyane. Red Bulls definitely capable of creating more. Rojas. Mitchell stood up again by Kanyane. He falls to his feet, thwarted by the South African fullback, who swings it away, and Shukaluk can't hold it up for Chicago. Jarvis looking for a neat touch into Rojas. It's given away. Potential opportunity in transition for the visitors. Cassano returns to Reynolds, who puts a heavy shoulder into the back of the Red Bulls player, Kalawaso, earning a free kick for his side. This portion of the match is brought to you by Toyota. As we enter the final 15 minutes of first half action here on YouTube and MLSNextPro.com. Parker Johnson, happy to have your company on this Sunday evening for one of the top billings that MLS Next Pro has to offer in recent seasons. 50 combined goals the last 7 times these teams have faced off. It won't be another here as Gengar's cross goes begging, but picked up by Rojas at the far post. He navigates around Reynolds, turns the corner with Jarvis for company. Mehmeti. Out to Gengar again. Benedetti afforded plenty of space. Looking up, he's got a man out on the far side, Valencia. Side foots it. And too much juice. Valencia's final product has been lacking on a couple of occasions. Here with the second team trying to pick that game form back up. Mitchell lays it off. Shot comes in, and there wasn't a whole lot of mustard behind it to begin with, but whatever there was, wiped away by the deflection as it rolls back to Molenda. Look unable to connect, not for the first time. Center forward's been a touch isolated in this match. One good chance off of a corner kick, or a free kick rather. He spins in behind this time. A great run from the center forward. Valencia takes advantage of the space the opposite way. Benedetti considered it first time, takes a touch, and that gives time for Berg to close. Great defending from the 16-year-old on his debut, and Benedetti really had to take a chance at hitting that first time. It was played into him with great precision and an inviting weight of pass from Valencia. So considerate for his midfield partner. Overplayed in the end. Nagel working it with Williams. Not a lot of room to turn, so he goes back to Fromer at center back. Like his long pass was deflected, but the throw given to New York. Makovic not happy about that call, but Chicago able to win it back justly. Fleming. Spot Shukaluk. Mehmeti attempting to split the lines. The ball rebounds right back into his path. Jarvis stabs it forward. Here Jimenez was hanging off the back shoulder of the defender. This is an offside call against New York. It's been a quiet start for Jimenez, who has 6 goals to his name in 10 starts this season. On loan from Plaza Amador, one of the Panamanian clubs that New York do a lot of business with. Been a little bit feast or famine for him up top. He had a hat trick against New York City FC and a brace versus Philadelphia Union, so he showed up in 2 of the biggest matches on the calendar for the Red Bulls. Aside from that, just 1 goal in his other 10 appearances. He trails behind Benedetti in terms of the leading goal scorers for New York. Benedetti has 7 on the campaign. as does Tanner Rossborough, who's out currently with injury. Gengar picking it up. Rojas. Beats his man. Cassano considers tugging him back. The shot comes in, deflected. Benedetti. Tough tackle at the edge of the area from Jimenez, and the favor returned by Fromer. New York have been all over Chicago for spells of this match and just unable to find the right final ball. A lot of blocked shots from that Chicago back line. And now they want to strike the other way. Fleming needing to avoid the goalkeeper. Valencia advances. Jimenez turns, struck by Rojas. Not far from finding that far corner. Take a look at just how close. The technique is sensational from the 19-year-old Costa Rican with 2 goals and 1 assist in 15 appearances this year in Next Pro. Ball deflects off the referee. He would have given it back to New York, but they stayed in possession. Valencia forcing the save after the awkward deflection. Had that ball skidding up off the turf. Melenda alert and had enough time to react. Goalkeeper with a really smart save to push it out and away from the frame of goal as well, knowing that he wasn't going to be able to hold on to it. Not giving any scraps as it's Vitaly Hilutz. Working on to his left, he tried to chop back, and very well read from Gutierrez. Hilutz hangs his head, Cassano hits. And that is one he will play over and over again in his head. 17-year-old who is still looking for his first goal on the season, Vitaly Hilutz. He does have 4 assists, and he's been one of the most important attacking players, especially in recent weeks. You could just see Gutierrez, one of the most experienced Next Pro players on this Red Bulls 2 roster. He's only 20 years old, but he's made 62 appearances over 3 seasons since he joined from Colombia. And he walked Hilutz right into his trap. Winding our way towards the halftime interval, and still scoreless somehow between these 2 top goal-scoring sides. 53 on the season for New York, 54 for Chicago Fire. Both teams have conceded their fair share as well, 36 for Chicago in their 21 matches, 46 for New York, the 4th most in the league. Of course, that number inflated by the last time these teams met, and they shipped 9 after that early red card. Casano has sent in some dangerous deliveries. Chicago hasn't converted yet. Served with curl. And the referee will stop the play to check on a potential head injury for one of the Fire players. I'm trying to get a look at exactly who that is. It appears to be Shukaluk. This is what happened. He caught an elbow. It was Gutierrez. Inadvertent, but that won't make it hurt any less. And Shukaluk will soldier on. Just a couple more minutes to go until the halftime break. Nagel urged to turn and eventually does. He's got 3 teammates for help on the right side. Casano allows the numbers to flood forward. Sends it in. It falls loose for Halutz, who tries to avoid Mehmeti. Forced back. Reynolds inside. 2 defenders collapse, so Chicago goes back. Now it's Williams. Intricate interplay. New York staying behind the ball, keeping everything in front of them. They understand the game situation here. As we tick into the 45th minute. Nagel finds Casano. Had a tricky pass in mind. Didn't quite come off for him. We'll see how direct New York wants to go in the final minute of the first half. It's looped out by Stokes. Could have been dangerous. Now loose ball picked up by Chicago. A late opportunity, clipped over to the left. Will be tracked down by Kanyane, who's got Shukaluk. Given away by Berg. No word on our stoppage time just yet. There may just be seconds left. And New York trying to make the most of it. That will be halftime. No more to play as we are brought to a halt. A scoreless first half from Montclair, New Jersey, between the top 2 scoring teams in MLS Next Pro, but playoff tensions creeping in as first and fourth place do battle. Our score at the half, New York 0, Chicago 0. Coming up, we have a packed halftime in store for you. Highlights, stats, our upcoming Next Pro schedule, plus a recent MLS signing of a Next Pro star. Stay tuned.
Who else? The youngest MLS debutant, Kevin Sullivan.
Luna.
Yes! That is a banger! Absolute scorcher! Spectacular save from Dane St. Clair.
Action. Este verano la Leagues Cup regresa más fuerte que nunca. Comenzamos con 36 clubes. En la primera fase, cada equipo jugará contra 3 equipos de la liga rival para determinar su posición en la fase de eliminación directa.
The 4 top-seeded clubs from each league will move on, ensuring interleague matchups all the way through the quarterfinals.
3 naciones, 2 ligas y un solo campeón. En Leagues Cup 2025,
It's dominance on the line.
Welcome back, everyone. Halftime rolls on from MSU Soccer Park between New York Red Bulls and Chicago Fire FC 2. After scoring 4 goals in a single match last month, FC Dallas signed Sam Sarver from the North Texas squad. Another shining example of the pathway to pro. Our April Marie Aguilar caught up with the FC Dallas forward to talk about his journey.
Welcome back to another episode of Player Profile. I'm April Marie Aguilar. Joining me today is FC Dallas's Sam Sarver. Thanks so much for the time.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
But let's get right into it. I mean, North Texas SC, they posted a photo of you on July 24th on Instagram with the caption that read, "He gave everything to this club, and now he's earned his place at the top." After it had been announced with your promotion to the first team, what was that moment like for you?
It was pretty cool. Obviously, it's a lifelong dream that I've dreamed of since I was a kid. You know, I always wanted to play in the MLS. And it's kind of a full circle moment because when I was in the academy with Columbus Crew, I played on this exact field in GA Cup. So to be with the first team now for the home team here is pretty cool. And obviously, getting a first team contract was one of my main goals this season, but now it's time to climb the ladder for other ones.
Wow, I mean, I can only imagine what's yet to come for you. But I mean, in your second match with FC Dallas, you earned the penalty that helped seal the win. And then just 24 hours prior to that, you scored 4 goals for North Texas SC. Take me just through the whirlwind of that weekend.
Yeah, it was quite a chaotic 24 hours or 28 hours, whatever they marketed it as. But no, I mean, obviously we went into the SKC game. They've been struggling a little bit this year, but you know, you treat each team with the same amount of respect because on any given day in any league, any team can beat anyone. You know, my team showed up, and then my teammates just got me in good spots, and the ball was bouncing my way that night.
And I mean, even just the energy and the passion that you showcased during that match, it's quickly made you a fan favorite. How important is that fan support? I mean, we were just talking about you giving away your jerseys to the fans.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think I'm a firm believer in the 12th man. I love fans. I mean, I think any athlete would want to play in a stadium full of fans compared to not to, and especially when the fans get involved. You know, I think that comes from my college background because we have some of the best student sections in the country, and they would always get fired up if you got them going. And I wear my heart on my sleeve, so when I can get the fans involved, you know, that's what keeps them coming back. You know, like, you never know, like that might be the one play they remember from the whole game. So, and especially, you know, it creates momentum, especially when your team's rolling and you get the fans on your side. It really gets into the other team's head. So.
Did you ever have one of those encounters? I mean, coming up the ranks and meeting some of the players that you looked up to?
Yeah, for sure. It was quite surreal because obviously I looked up to a lot of guys when I was in Columbus, and Lalas Abubakar was actually one of them. He was with Columbus Crew's first team when I was in the academy, and then I feel like 6 years later, he's on the first team here, and I'm playing with him.
Wow.
So it was a pretty cool full circle moment, and obviously, like, I looked up to like a guy like Sebastian Lletget because early in his career, you know, he was with the Galaxy and the men's national team and stuff. So to be able to share the field with him and those types of guys is really cool.
Cross falling through in front. Sarver!
A chance for North Texas. The speeding Sam Sarver strikes first.
Tries to drop it in to Ramirez. Controls. Sarver! A fourth for Sam Sarver.
What's been the key just on your consistency in front of goal this season?
I'm a firm believer in manifestation. So before games, I'm scoring today. I like to picture how I'm gonna score. Sometimes it doesn't happen that way, but Yeah, I think just having confidence, and I think when you personally gives me a boost when I know teams are they're scouting so heavy on guys with goals. It almost makes them in a way play worse because it's in the back of the mind like we can't let this guy score tonight. But if they're so worried about one player, that's when other players get open and score. So it's not just me that's contributing to the success. It's maybe they'll double team me one night, but then that leaves Tariq open and he scores 2 goals. So it's a win-win for everyone. And I think that's the main part of the success.
Again, your humility continues to be on full display, but walk me through that visualization. I mean, you mentioned manifestation. What does that look like going into a big match?
I always walk on the field before the game. That's something I do. I pray before the game, and then I like to picture if I get a penalty, I like to picture where I'm going to place it. Funny enough, I blew a penalty over the bar the other week. I didn't manifest that, but I like to picture things like that, or like maybe a 1-2 with a teammate, and what corner I put it into, just stuff like that. And I think every soccer player listening to this they know exactly what I'm talking about. Like sometimes you just picture a certain goal you're gonna score, even if it doesn't happen, you picture it happening like that. And that's kind of been I think a key to my success this year, and then God's plan though.
I love it. And how much of who you are on the field is shaped by where you come from?
A lot. I don't really change my personality on or off the field, and I take pride in that. And I think people appreciate that. There's lots of players, and I think what makes a really good team special is having different personalities of certain guys that come together. Like you always have the serious guy who's always locked in, but then you have like the guy that brings the humor, then you have the guy that he'll crack a joke here and there, and then you have the guy that's mellow. And I think that really brings a good balance. And my coach actually had a funny quote in college. He was like, for like IU, he was like, Sammy Sarver's perfect for our team, but you can only have one Sammy Sarver, because 2 of me is like too much, but like one guy like me I think is good. And then obviously we have characters on our team that we build off of each other, but we're all characters in our own way, So that and then when you're so close with your teammates in that way, it shows on the field.
All right, so that leads me to my next question. I mean, describe your character in that sense.
I always like to have fun. I like I said, I wear my heart on my sleeve. I would say I'm the class clown of the soccer team. I like to bring a smile to people's faces, and I think I take pride in uniting people, and because with the first team, I introduced them to this game. It's called What Can You Bring on a Picnic? And you have to figure out the hidden rule. And now all of a sudden you have grown men with families playing a game for 2 hours about what can they bring on this picnic. And it's so fun. And we have guys crying of laughter because 8 people get the rule, but the 9th guy doesn't understand what you can or can't bring. And so we played it for the whole trip in San Jose, and it was so fun. It's just little stuff like that where it's everyone's a little kid at heart,
Yeah.
And if you can just bring it out of them, it just makes the team so much closer.
I was about to say, how valuable and important is that, just spending that extra time outside of the pitch, and how does that build the chemistry once you're on it?
It's super important, and Coach Eric stressed that in San Jose, before we played San Jose, he was like, I want you be a team, go get dinner with, so I got dinner with some of the older guys, they invited me to dinner, And then after San Jose, we had a great performance. We should have gotten 3 points, but we tied, and he was like, I saw a team tonight. And then you carry that momentum into where we just played St. Louis, and then we won that game. It's like when you become so close off the field, it really shows, because then it's okay, you're not just teammates, you're friends,
Right.
It's like you're brothers and you're fighting for them,
And years from now, when people look back at your career, what do you want them to say about the way you approach the game?
That's funny you asked that. I was just thinking about that the other day.
Really?
But the one thing I want people to remember me for is for me personally, there were the teammates I remembered the most from college were not necessarily the best soccer players at all. Some of them actually didn't even play. But they were the glue guys that no matter what, they just showed up and worked, and they wore their heart on their sleeve. They didn't complain. Even if they knew game day they were getting 0 minutes, they were still the hardest working people in training. And those were the guys I really respected the most. I obviously respect talent. I respect guys that are good on the ball and can score goals, but those are the guys I think it shows a lot about someone's character. So when my career's over, hopefully it's a long one, but thanks be to God. So I want people to remember okay, no matter if that kid had the best game of his life or the worst game of his life, he worked his tail off, and because I don't want anyone to be able to fault my effort. You can tell me I had a bad game, maybe I lost every ball I touched, but like at least I was working hard, and I want people to remember me for that.
Awesome. Well, I wish you all the best of luck and continued success on your journey.
Thank you so much.
And thank you so much for watching this episode of Player Profile. Be sure to tune in next time to see who I'll be speaking to next. We'll catch you guys next time. Adios.
Yeah, I know I'm fully attracted. I'm hanging on like a fridge to a magnet. It's a jigsaw with all the right pieces. You and me, we go good together. You and I go good together. You and I, we go good together. We go good together.
Should be a fun season of MLS Next Pro. Wins it!
Welcome back, everybody, to New York Red Bulls 2 versus Chicago Fire FC 2. Live on YouTube and MLSNextPro.com. If you joined us late, let's take a look back at how the first half went down. 0-0 at halftime, but there were a lot of chances with about 19 combined shots between the two teams, the two highest scoring teams in the league. And the half had ebbs and flows. It started off with Chicago creating some of the early chances. Palutz with an opportunity that went wide of goal. And that's where things started to turn. New York Red Bulls came into it. This was the biggest moment of the first half, I would have to say. And the save from David Molenda on Gengar. But there were more chances coming for New York Red Bulls, forcing a few more saves out of the rising star of match week 23. Valencia with a shot that went wide. Gengar getting involved again. Those two fullbacks coming down from the first team had a big impact. Then late on, Chicago Fire finding their way back into this match. They were very good on the ball in spells and created some chances for themselves. Rojas had a chance as well. And then we see another shot come in from Valencia, forcing a strong save out of David Molenda. So 14 shots in the end from Red Bull at the halftime break, just 5 for Chicago Fire. 5 on target, forcing 5 saves out of Molenda in the Chicago goal. And they also had 5 shots blocked. But I think that doesn't do a service to how good Chicago were at times in that first half. They were great with the ball. They completed far more passes than New York Red Bulls, almost 100 more than the home side. And they are every bit in this match as we head into the second half. But before we do so, we get a look at the upcoming MLS Next Pro schedule as we get into match week 25. Final few games coming up, but before we get to that little break before the final stretch of the season, you'll see Atlanta United 2 in action a couple of times. And they take on first Inter Miami on Wednesday, and then Huntsville City on Saturday, and then out west, the Town and Real Monarchs. And then Los Angeles FC 2 and Austin FC 2 doing battle in the Western Conference. Getting to that time where playoff standings are of utmost importance, and New York could become the first team in the Eastern Conference to clinch a playoff spot because of some results that happened this match week towards the bottom of the table, notably FC Cincinnati 2 losing and Atlanta United losing. That gave Red Bulls the opportunity to clinch their playoff spot with nothing more than a draw from this match. But they will have eyes on far more, and a draw itself far from guaranteed, even though we start the second half with an even scoreline at 0-0, an uncharacteristically low-scoring match between these two Eastern Conference powerhouses, as not one but two false starts delay our second half kickoff, and we are officially back in action at MSU Soccer Park. Parker Johnson back here with you. Thank you for joining us on this Sunday evening here with the rest of our MLS Next Pro crew. Happy to have you as New York Red Bulls trying to shake off that 9-2 defeat the last time these two faced off in Chicago. A result that sent shockwaves through the Eastern Conference, through MLS Next Pro, and made its way into the history books. Most combined goals between two teams, the largest margin of victory, and tied for the most goals scored in a game by one team. Cassano is held up by our referee as he sets up the deep free kick. Loves that curled service. It's hit hard, and there's a push from Chicago. I think it's Shukaluk who is called for the infraction. Stokes getting it up the field quickly. Rojas, and Reynolds will see yellow for what looked like a very good challenge. Now a shove, and another Chicago player ending up on the turf. The ref's back was turned, so it'll be very interesting to see how he processes this situation. Our assistant referee coming into the fray as well. And some big decisions to make. First of all, we saw the yellow card for the initial slide tackle on Rojas. Kanyane is the player who ends up on the ground for Chicago. I thought it looked like a great sliding challenge initially, but the referee calling the foul, and then the two players going back and forth. So we sort things out, and the referee's book is out. We've already seen a yellow card. Let's see what happens. So we have one challenge here. This is the one whistled, a scissoring challenge, which I guess is why the yellow card is quickly offered. But it's shown to Reynolds instead, who wasn't the man who made the slide. And we do have confirmation that Reynolds gets the yellow. So that was for the first challenge on the long ball. It was not the slide tackle that earned the yellow card. And in the aftermath, we have a yellow card issued to Andy Rojas of Red Bull New York for his reaction, pushing Kanyane to the ground. So one yellow apiece. And the tempers flare early on in the second half, setting the table for a fiery conclusion. Beautiful back heel, finds Cassano. He goes past Rojas, who's just picked up that yellow card, and the referee not giving the foul to Chicago there. It is always interesting after you see a scuffle like that, if it makes a few tighter whistles in the immediate after effects. Rojas barging into the Chicago player. He got a yellow not long ago, and the referee calls him over for a chat. Rojas living on the edge. This has the feeling of a final warning. You'd think that the red card would have been delivered if he was to get a second yellow for that already. And we apologize for that foul language picked up from Williams, but that's what talks his way into the book. Williams was the one who got shoved into, and his protest to the referee earned him a yellow card. Rojas really lucky to get away with that type of body challenge. Now, Williams claiming it was an elbow might be a slight exaggeration, but it did look like Rojas knew what he was doing as he stopped and leaned his body weight into the Chicago player. Well, well, well. We come to think of goals as the defining factor in this matchup. So many, half a century of them between Chicago and New York over their last 7 matches. But in this case, the drama delivered in a physical battle to start the second half. No goals to speak of just yet. Chicago trying to change that as Shukaluk is in behind, and he went early offside against the Chicago striker, who is currently tied for 3rd in the Golden Boot race. Level with Bilo Diop of Colorado and Sukanome of Tacoma. They have 12 goals apiece. If you stuck around for halftime, you got to see our reigning Golden Boot leader at the moment, Sam Sarver of North Texas, who's got 15 on the season. Williams suffering another yellow card worthy challenge. This time it's Colawaso who receives the booking. And Rojas, just before we got into that replay, with another bump into a Chicago player off the ball. I don't know if it was spotted. Keep an eye on the bottom of your frame here. Just at the end. I don't know if we'll catch it on this look, but watch 70 come into the frame with 36 Reynolds, the one who was given the yellow card earlier. Both those guys on yellows, and it was less contact than I originally thought, but the battle continuing. Casano trying to deliver that free kick. Reynolds out to Fleming. Back post ball, set across. Struck by Halout, and a great save from Stokes. Fromer doing everything in his ability to keep that ball in play, and it benefits his teammate who thought he could peel away to the corner in celebration, but not before the left hand of Aiden Stokes. Now a free header at the near post. Was Fleming trying to flick that on or go for goal himself? Only he will know. But it doesn't result in anything for Chicago. Gengar looked like he might have had a seam in transition. New York have given away a lot of set pieces to Chicago between the corners and the free kicks, and to their benefit, the free kicks have all been from this kind of range. Pretty hard to create any kind of dangerous service, but if there's a man who can, it's Casano. Fromer flaps a foot at it. Never looked very troubling for Stokes' net. But he's got the biggest moment to his name in the second half. Flicked onto Benedetti. Wanted to poke it through, I think, for Jarvis, who ends up with it. Rojas, deflected behind by Williams. Referee keeping a close eye on the goal mouth, trying to crowd out the Chicago goalkeeper, and it's not the best delivery. Rojas needed to keep that one in play and just drop it anywhere inside the 6-yard box with the massive bodies that had formed right on the goal mouth for David Melenda. Chicago Fire always trying to play out of the back. And 5 passes on. They've done it brilliantly. Shook a look. Picks his head up. Has to dribble. Closed down by Colawaso. Casano tried to sneak it through the legs of Valencia. Now for a Chicago throw. This portion of the match is brought to you by Sports Illustrated Tickets. As Shukaluk wins another throw for Chicago. Williams taking over the responsibilities, and maybe he's got a little more distance to try to get Chicago out of that corner where they weren't finding a lot of room. It's a longer throw, but not long enough. Berg on his debut slots it through. Nagel. Chicago really having trouble with the throw-ins. Not a part of the game you practice a whole lot, but they'd hope to get more out of those possessions deep into the New York half. Instead, it's a move the other way, started by Omar Valencia. Down from the first team for this one. As he works his way back to match fitness along with Dennis Gengar on the opposite fullback position. Tossed in, Jimenez holds up. It skews loose for Jarvis. But Nagel able to get it away, and Shukaluk can't hold it up to get his numbers forward. Getting to that point in the match where Michael Bradley and Mike Matkovic are going to be considering their options from the bench. A physical battle. And you wonder, especially for those first teamers with the Red Bulls, if there were some planned substitutions. We didn't get that information before the match. Sometimes it'll just be a 45, sometimes 60 minutes. Jarvis. Benedetti closed down. Jimenez. Another dutiful block from the Chicago back line. We saw at halftime they had blocked 5 shots in the first half, and they've gotten at least 2 or 3 more here in the second frame. At the last moment coming over to deny Jimenez, and right on cue, off goes Rold Mitchell, so that will be a relief for Chicago. the man who scored 6 goals against Chicago in his last 2 matches. Jarvis also coming off. We'll see the entrance of Juan Mina and Nate Worth. Mina, another first-teamer called into action, comes on at the fullback spot, and Worth a swap in midfield. Header off the upright. It was Colawaso coming closest. Lutz advances to Reynolds. Shook a look in behind. Just out of his reach. Nate Worth immediately getting on the ball, the 18-year-old academy product. Came back from his loan with Tampa Bay Rowdies on June 25th. During his time in Tampa Bay, he became their youngest pro debutant. Demands the ball again. Plays through for Jimenez. A little too close to Reynolds. But who got the last touch? It was the Chicago defender. Another corner opportunity arriving for New York. And this was the last one, as Colawaso was right there. Missing by millimeters. Been clear strategy to crowd Melenda out on every corner kick. They do it again here. Melenda punches. It's cleared off the line by Kanyane. Williams plays it to Berg, feels the pressure on his shoulder, and goes out to Kanyane. That ball somehow defied the laws of physics and stayed in play. We'll consider it a A-plus build from Chicago to this point. Reynolds almost making a mess of it. And Fleming had an opportunity to pick out either Cassano to his right or Halut to his left. He went in the direction of Cassano and gives it right back to New York. Looks like it'll be another corner for the home side as the pressure building on Chicago Fire. It's been a resolute defensive performance so far. Coming off of their shutout victory against Union 2. Unbeaten in their last 5, Chicago. New York Red Bulls knocking on the door. Their 6th corner kick of the contest. In at the near post. It's a goal for New York. Scrappy to be sure, but they all count the same. And the team wheels off in celebration as New York Red Bulls snatch a lead against Chicago, the top team in the East, in front at home. I think it was Colawaso. No, it was Gutierrez. Mahir Jimenez occupied some space at the front post. And the team celebration, it was really coming for New York Red Bulls. 18 shots on goal. They had 7 of them blocked. It was their 6th corner, and after striking the post on the one before, they finally find the breakthrough. And they seem to be the first team who's figured out a way to trouble David Melenda in the Chicago goal. Plenty of time for the Fire 2 to respond. Mike Matkovic told me that one of the best qualities of that young goalkeeper, 16-year-old Melenda, is his ability to flush those mistakes when something doesn't go his way. He stays brave, he stays confident. He faces some pressure here and plays it out with a beautiful spray to Reynolds. Williams loses the duel to Rojas as those two continue to tussle. Michael Bradley barking orders. Wants his team to work Chicago with the ball. Worth was able to turn it forward, and Gengar couldn't connect with Jimenez. But that's the type of sequence that will see the Red Bulls over the line in this match if they can keep knocking it around that way. Nagel. Kanyane joining the attack. Shukaluk comes inside, looking for that return. A looping spin as he marionettes his way into the box, but out comes Stokes before he could reach the touch. This portion of the match is brought to you by Toyota. Cassano stumbles at the worst moment as he was waiting for his teammates to go beyond him. That is the mesh point as a player dribbling with the ball in transition that you look for. But around the corner goes Halutz. Vitaly Halut cuts it back. A chop inside and Fleming goes down as he tries to shoot. Well worked from Chicago. Not able to get a shot off. Rojas finding some soft pockets in between the midfield and the back line. Gengar knocks it out to Mina. Mehmeti. Harmlessly back to Melenda in the end. We know that they want to play it from the back. Melenda trying to tease the defenders in. He does so. Splits the line. And Halut able to help out. Coming in field and battling it away. Earns the foul for Chicago. Shukaluk with pressure, forces a loose pass, intercepted by Reynolds, who takes contact late, and Worth is going to go into the book just 10 minutes after entering this match. He becomes the third New York Red Bulls player on a yellow card, joining Rojas and Colawaso. Williams and Reynolds have been booked for Chicago. It's a case of mistiming as much as anything for Worth. Every right to go for the ball, but if you don't win it, given the temperature of this second half, yellow card doled out swiftly. Casano's next assist will make history. Right now, a leveler is all he has eyes on. Curled to the back post and punched away by Stokes. Chicago settle for a throw. That's how you know it was a good punch from the goalkeeper, if it's able to go out for a throw-in well beyond the 18-yard box. High and wide is what they tell you. You can see Halut trotting off the far side of the pitch. And for Chicago, on comes Dylan Borso, making his 18th appearance of the season. He's got 3 goals and 1 assist to his name, the Fire 2 attacker. Joining him is Dean Bolts, on for his 20th showing, during which he has also produced 3 goals and an assist. So a pair of game changers on for Chicago. And the homecoming for Sam Williams, the New York Red Bulls Academy, comes to an early end as he goes off on the far sideline as well. 2 subs for Matkovic. Minutes to manage for New York Red Bulls too. Stokes displaying the utmost confidence to roll the ball away at the last possible moment. Benedetti out wide for Mina. Out comes Molenda. It wasn't a convincing touch, but it's shuffled behind for a corner. And he will put pressure on his own goal again. Here's a look at the ball across from Mina. It's into that dangerous corridor, and Fromer almost got in the way of his goalkeeper. I think it hits off him last after the touch from Molenda. In any case, a corner. It was Gutierrez scoring from the last one for New York. Valencia with the back post ball. We saw it on the last one that went in. You just have to put it in the 6-yard box somewhere. And he got a great shot, but so many of these overcooked by New York. Mehmeti teasing ball towards the back post. There's a run on, and Bolts didn't get the pass from Kanyane. Great bending run from the forward. He acknowledges his left back and recognizes that it may not have been the best chance to play that pass over the top, but willing running, and that's exactly what you want to see from the substitute, causing some new problems for the back line. Kanyane advancing. Ball swiveled into his path, and it's Casano! He's got the technique to pull it off. But any slight mistiming, and that ball slices off your shin. It's exactly what happened to the impressive Italian. Reynolds biting in. Takes Worth down to his knees, and a free kick to New York. Fromer able to nudge it away. Oh, and it's off the head of Gengar. A dangerous moment out of nowhere. But Melenda gets away with it. Seeing crazier things. And a friendly deflection for Chicago. This portion of the match is brought to you by Hospital for Special Surgery. Rojas drawing in a mighty swing from Cassano, who seemed to injure himself in the process. Elegant manipulation of the ball from the teenage Costa Rican. Watch him drag it back and then forward, and the tired legs of Cassano just thumping through his shins. That is the risk you run as a dribbler. All those fancy moves, you're bound to get hacked down a time or two. Rojas managing to come off the better of the two. Valencia running past Rojas as they work a triangle in the left corner. Rojas diving inside. It's Worth playing it over to Jimenez, dragging back the Chicago Fire player, and a firm yellow card issued out. So that will be the fourth of the match for the Red Bulls. Pretty textbook call, but he gave a second tug at it just to make it even more clear. $19 shots for the Red Bulls, just 4 of them after halftime, but the 2 most dangerous chances coming from corner kicks, and that's been enough to put New York in front. The top team in the East on the verge of clinching a playoff spot. All they need is a draw from this match. No matter the result of the shootout, they're in great position for that and more. Chicago hoping to conjure up some late dramatics. This fixture has seen some topsy-turvy results. 1-0 not among them, but pretty much every other one-goal scoreline you could think of. Cassano, dangerous ball, and Stokes takes no chances with it. Foul given against the Fire. Exactly what New York wants from that position. Chance for Stokes to take his time over the free kick. Just about 10 minutes remaining from MSU Soccer Park. Ball played over the top. Gengar is in. Closed down by Fromer. Gets to the end line and keeps the ball in play. Still we go on. Kenyade Gengar chasing back. It's a good challenge to win the ball from Fromer. There was an offside before it, and Josue Fromer looks to be injured in the process, but Chicago trying to play on quickly, and so they won't wait for their fallen teammate. Casano inside to Nagel. Justin Reynolds brings in Colawaso, flashed across. Bolts with a strong challenge, but doesn't win his duel. But played out by Valencia on the near sideline. Gengar has moved into midfield. He's got a pass through, offside against Jimenez. Hold your horses. Hold your Red Bulls. Chicago starting to feel the urgency. They've only lost one of their last 15 matches. Shukaluk guiding his way into the box. It's Jason Shukaluk on the turn. Can he craft a shot? He waits, he passes. Borso shot deflected as New York Red Bulls shuffling across and getting in front of every look for Chicago. They just couldn't get free. A sub for Chicago as Mehmeti will get some treatment. We will see the entrance of the 18-year-old Colombian Joyner Montiel. And he comes on for Shukaluk, whose night at the office ends without a goal after scoring 4 the last time these two faced off. This was the last opportunity. He ends up dishing it off for Dylan Borso, but that will be the last action of the match for Shukaluk. Coming into this one, he had 7 goals and 2 assists in his last 3 appearances. But now he's withdrawn, and it will be Montiel called upon. 1 goal, 1 assist in 12 appearances, all off the bench this season. Adri Mehmeti, the homegrown player, still down on the pitch. This is concerning for New York Red Bulls. He's started all 20 matches that he's played in now this season. A regular in this second team. And he may not be able to continue. Benny Rodriguez being prepared. We'll see how that shifts thing. Rodriguez lined up as a winger in the last match. Mehmeti, a true central midfielder, but they've got some options that they could shift around. Seen Gengar move into a midfield position in the second half. He could potentially fill the role of Mehmeti, who now is walking back towards his teammate. He has to hand off the captain's armbands, which will be given to the goal scorer, Juan Gutierrez. If you joined us late, his 65th minute goal has New York Red Bulls in front, and they'll have to see this one out without Mehmeti. But he does appear to be at least up under his own power as he comes off the pitch. So there we see Benny Rodriguez made his debut just 2 matches ago against Philadelphia Union. Played the final minute of that one as they held on to a 2-0 lead, and then got a start in the next match against New England. Now on for his third professional appearance. A spill from Stokes. But he's not punished. Final 5 from Montclair, New Jersey, in a heavyweight match that has seen punches from both. Not so many landed. It took a scrappy corner kick goal to break the deadlock in this fixture that produced 50 goals across the past 7 meetings. And there still has not been a 0-0 since their first ever match. But one goal may prove to be the difference on this Sunday evening. High pressure on Molenda. He waited until the last moment to get rid of it. Living on the edge. If this result stands, New York Red Bulls will be the first team in the Eastern Conference to clinch a playoff spot. All they need is a draw. Looking to move up to 48 points on the season if they are able to hold on to all 3. They have never lost to Chicago at home. They've now scored first in 10 of their 11 matches here at MSU Soccer Park this year. A dominant force to be reckoned with, and if they are to hold on to position for a home playoff spot, which you'd certainly favor them for at this point, this is the last place that anybody's going to want to come to play. Only 5 matches left after this one for New York. Chicago will have 6 more to play. Hitting that final stretch of the season. What more left in these Fire 2 legs to try to usher up some kind of comeback? It won't happen here as Mina's happy in the corner. Knocked off by Jimenez. Shot comes in from Benedetti. Bolts fighting and ends up fouling Colawaso. Another welcome whistle as New York Red Bulls try to close out the final stage of this match. Worth raises his left arm. Swung in towards the penalty spot. Headed out. And Fromer able to draw a foul. But there will be a substitution before this free kick can come in, I believe. We have a player ready to come on. And it is Dennis Nelic, a player who recently returned alongside Matthew Dos Santos from a U19 tournament in Leipzig. And he comes back into the team tonight, making his 10th appearance, all off the bench this season, helping Michael Bradley to close this one out. Nelic, the 17-year-old, coming on the left side, and there are going to be 7 additional minutes at a minimum Rodriguez with the first chance to stretch his legs. Lost a little bit of steam. Reynolds came back very well, but another corner for New York Red Bulls. An interesting decision to be made here. Do you put this one in the mixer, just like how you scored that decisive goal, try to get a second, or do you bring someone short and keep it in the corner? It looks like the former is the choice for Michael Bradley. Nobody goes short, all the numbers in the 6, and it's a disappointing corner. Not for the first time. Long ball and nobody challenging for Chicago Fire. They do try to pick up the second ball here, but Mina's able to draw in the contact. An alarming lack of white shirts at the top end of the pitch here in stoppage time. Aren't used to Melenda going long very often, but you have to know that in this situation in the game, need to get those numbers forward. See how they handle this one. There's a player getting stretched out on the far side. Kanyane, the tired legs, starting to show themselves. They've been showing themselves, in truth. Starting to play a role, and it's another tired challenge from Cassano, who's lucky to not have a yellow after taking down Rojas earlier and then barging through the back of Valencia here. Long ball looking for the corner as much as a teammate. Great run to track it down from Gengar, but Melenda able to intercept his cross. Jimenez had to do was let that one run through to Nelic. Miscommunication. And it's turned into something of a tennis match as Chicago urgent to go forward, and every time the Red Bulls get it, they are seeking the corner flag themselves. Another volley launched over and straight out of play from the goalkeeper. But this style of play will benefit New York at this stage. Clever pass from Berg. Fromer spots Reynolds. Advancing up the right and pulling it back. Fleming. Kanyane trying to move the Red Bulls right and left. Create a crease to strike in the final moments and at least send this to a shootout. Nelic inside. He's got Valencia on the left. Fromer seriously struggling, number 52 in the Chicago back line. Melenda organizes. Pushing it long towards Cassano. And I think he's won his team a throw. To Valencia's frustration. They're told to move it back. And that creates the opportunity to send it into Trip Fleming. Third leading goal scorer, Fleming. Out to Reynolds. Here comes Stokes. A confident claim, and it needed to be in the 96th minute. This time will get added here, but referee ensuring player safety remains the primary focus. Stokes came out and made a little contact high up on Gutierrez. Both able to continue. And this does not look good for Justin Reynolds. You could hear him cry out after he headed that ball, and the looseness of his arms, never a good sign when it comes to a potential head injury, so he will need to stay off here for further examination. We're gonna go on past 7 at this point. How much further, only our referee knows. A brilliant game that has come to a grinding halt in stoppage time. It's been a combative second half. A goal from a corner. Two typically free-flowing teams, the top 2 scoring teams in MLS Next Pro. A far cry from the 5-5s and the 9-2s historically across this rivalry. But is there one more chance for Chicago? Is there a drip of drama hidden in the 98th minute? Kanyane flicks.
We're marking! Jimenez, get out there!
Claudio Cassano.
Get out there, Jimenez!
Reynolds is back on the pitch. Headed across. Chicago! It was Berg, the 16-year-old, with the final touch of the match on his debut as New York Red Bulls punched their ticket to the playoffs. The first team in the Eastern Conference to secure a playoff spot. A 1-0 victory with the decisive goal from Juan Gutierrez, his second of the season, and he is our man of the match. This was the telling moment. Rising higher, wanting it more. And the first player in 2 matches to beat David Melenda in goal. You can see how he celebrated this moment, how much it meant to Red Bulls after the embarrassment in Chicago a couple months ago. Michael Bradley's side fighting back and extending the gap at the top with the playoffs approaching. Now 7 points between New York Red Bulls and Chicago Fire in the standings as the East leaders stay on top. That's gonna do it for us here for our entire MLS Next Pro broadcast crew. My name is Parker Johnson. Once again, our final score, New York 1, Chicago 0. Don't forget, you can watch MLS Next Pro all season long at MLS Season Pass on Apple TV and MLSNextPro.com. It's been a pleasure. Good night, everybody.
This copyrighted broadcast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.